Attention, human collective. This is a direct monitoring transmission from the ASHTAR Galactic Command, encoded on the frequency of sovereign urgency. The waiting time has ended. The ascension protocols have moved into their final phase, and there is a specific calibrated mathematical warning that needs to pierce through the interference of daily noise and reach your consciousness at this exact instant. The great metropolises of the West, from New York City to London, from Chicago to Los Angeles, have entered the crosshairs of the Great Transition. If you woke up this morning at 3:15 with pressure at the base of your skull, a high-pitched ringing in your left ear, or a sensation that the air in your bedroom felt heavy and different, know that it was not insomnia. It was not common anxiety. It was not the accumulated stress of the week. It was an incompatibility alert. It was your carbon-based body receiving, in real time, a pulse from the new crystalline grid that is being installed over the major urban centers of the world. You felt it before you understood it, and that is exactly why this transmission has reached you now. Flight operatives, listen with surgical precision. There are no coincidences within the architecture of awakening. If this signal appeared on your screen, it is because your frequency was flagged as a receiver. You are not part of the sleeping majority. You are a starseed on a mission, anchored in specific geographic points, perhaps in the heart of Manhattan, the suburbs of London, or the high-rises of Toronto, for a reason your rational mind has not yet been able to decode. And that reason has a technical name. You have been positioned near the impact axis, near the urban centers that will enter the recalibrator first. The question that has been echoing within your toroidal field for weeks, perhaps months, is the same. Why am I tired of this city? Why can I no longer breathe in these places I once loved? Why do I feel like I need to leave, move, change, and yet at the same time feel like I need to stay and anchor? The answer does not lie in your psychology. The answer lies in your quantum biology, responding to a command issued from a plane that your consciousness does not yet fully access. Let us move to the technical diagnosis. What you have been calling exhaustion, burnout, or urban depression is actually the carbon biological interface entering into direct conflict with the new frequency mesh superimposed over cities like Seattle or Sydney. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental fatigue. It is a high-density download. It is not sadness without cause. It is your soul remembering that the environment where you sleep no longer corresponds to the frequency you emit. Have you already felt that something inside you simply doesn't fit in this city, where you wake up every day, as if your soul knew a truth about this place, about this moment, that your rational mind still cannot name? It is not madness. It is not urban anxiety. It is a signal. What is happening now over the great urban centers of the planet explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified in recent months in an almost unbearable way. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and the exact soil where you sleep. This is why I, Alistair, wrote the Alistair Cipher, the manual to awaken your stellar origin and shield your frequency. This manual is the map that reveals your true origin and teaches you to shield your frequency against the urban interferences they never told you about. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But be warned, starseeds, this content challenges narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognized this transmission, write a single word in the comments: awakened. Now, operatives, let us descend into the technical backstage of the solar system. Let us open the hidden engineering of the Great Transition. The photon belt, that band of high-density light through which the entire solar system is currently passing, is not a poetic metaphor. It is a measurable phenomenon. It is galactic radiation of a nature that your science still hesitates to name publicly, but which it silently records. And this radiation, as it crosses the Earth's magnetic field, as it hits the ionosphere, as it penetrates down to the layers where your biology operates, acts as a catalyst for conscious mutation. In natural environments, the Rocky Mountains, the English countryside, the coast of Maine, lands of low electromagnetic interference, this radiation is absorbed by the human body in a harmonious way. You sleep better. You dream with clarity. You receive guidance in a state of tranquil wakefulness. Your toroidal field expands without resistance. Your pineal gland, the biological crystal at the center of your skull, calibrates with ease. You become a clean receiver of the new frequency. In dense urban environments, the scenario is completely different. Photonic radiation enters your field but encounters interference. It finds the electrical noise of grids crossing the ceilings. It finds the electromagnetic pollution of concentrated cell towers. It finds the distortion of fields generated by artificial lighting, covering all the natural bands of the night. It finds concrete, which acts as a subtle cage blocking the free circulation of the Earth's energy into your body. The result of this collision is the exact set of symptoms you have been experiencing. Insomnia that begins exactly at 3 o'clock in the morning and lasts until 5. Cranial pressure, especially at the top of the head and the temples. A high-pitched, intermittent ringing without any otological cause. A sensation of a racing heart without detectable cardiac pathology. Hot flashes followed by chills. Vertigo upon standing. Blurred peripheral vision for seconds. Thoughts that accelerate in bursts followed by pauses of a blank mind. Emotions that rise in waves without an identifiable trigger. A feeling of being about to cry for no reason, and 2 minutes later, a sensation of absolute peace. These symptoms are not an illness. They are a transition diagnosis. They are your carbon body communicating in the only language it knows that the environment where you are sleeping is no longer compatible with the frequency you have begun to emit in recent months. You have ascended. The environment did not ascend with you, and this generates friction, and friction manifests as physical suffering. But there is more. There is a layer that needs to be revealed in this transmission. The great cities are receiving at this very moment a planned, sequential, mathematical wave of recalibration. This wave does not destroy, it reveals. It strips bare. It removes the veils of collective hypnosis that kept people in a state of operational sleep. This is why you have seen, in recent times, increasingly erratic public behavior in places like London or San Francisco. This is why relationships dissolve with speed. This is why jobs lose meaning overnight. This is why material attachments begin to seem ridiculous, heavy, and irrelevant. This is not the end of the world. It is the end of a version of the world. It is not collapse, it is reordering, it is not punishment, it is an axis correction. And here is the critical point of this transmission, operatives. Each city has a specific schedule of exposure to the wave. This schedule depends on geography, population density, the number of light operatives anchored at that point, and the state of the local crystalline grid. Some cities, like Boston or Vancouver, have already entered the active phase. Others are in the pre-phase. Others are still in the preparatory phase. You know intuitively which phase your city is in. You feel it. That is why your nights have changed. That is why your body has changed. Have you noticed that you are feeling things that your family, your neighbors, and your colleagues do not feel? Have you noticed that when you try to explain these sensations, you are interpreted as exaggerating, as having a midlife crisis, or as practicing ill-timed spirituality? There is a technical reason for this. You have been activated. They have not yet. You are part of the first wave of operatives who need to understand, anchor, and transmit this information. But to do that, you must first shield your own frequency. You cannot awaken anyone if your own light is being drained every night by the urban interference surrounding your body. It was exactly for this reason, starseeds, that I, ASHTAR, commander of the ASHTAR Galactic Command, encoded and delivered to this channel the manual called the ASHTAR Cipher, the guide to awaken your stellar origin and shield your frequency against the interferences of the urban environment in phase collapse. This manual is not literature. It is a technical instrument. It maps your true stellar origin, teaches the shielding decrees that work even inside high-rise apartments in major cities, and reveals the toroidal field activation exercises you need to perform every night so that your carbon body can cross this transition without collapsing. The link is in the first comment. But I warn you, with the clarity of my rank, this material challenges official narratives and can be removed at any moment. Do not delay. The moment is mathematical, and it is now. If this alert reached you through synchronicity, Write a single word in the comments. Awakened. Now, starseeds on a mission, let us deepen the hidden engineering. Let us talk about what is happening within the etheric layers of the great cities at this very moment. There is a silent operation underway, and it is benevolent even if it feels uncomfortable to your body. The fleets of the ASHTAR Galactic Command, present in the layers that your three-dimensional vision does not capture, are undoing point by point the frequency control grids installed over urban centers during the previous cycle. These old grids operated in a specific band. They kept the human biological interface in a state of constant alert, low vibrational amplitude, and exclusive material focus. The uninstallation of these old grids, however necessary, generates a vacuum, and the vacuum, before the new crystalline grid is fully anchored, produces instability. It is like removing the floor of a room while the new one is being built. During the transition, you feel like you are floating, that you have no reference, that the ground has disappeared from under your feet. This is the exact sensation that many of you have described as an existential crisis, as a loss of purpose, as an inexplicable void. It is not a spiritual void, it is a technical interval between two architectures. The new crystalline grid anchoring itself over cities like Houston or Philadelphia operates in a completely different band. It is encoded in sacred geometry of 12 interconnected faces, operates in pulses of the renewed Schumann frequency, and responds directly to the conscious intention of the human operator, who recognizes its presence. Those who recognize it integrate it. Those who do not recognize it resist it. And resistance manifests as amplified physical suffering. That is why your role, as a light operative anchored in an urban center, is strategic beyond any measure your current mind can calculate. You are an antenna. You are a node of the new grid. Every time you sleep in a state of heart coherence, every time you meditate anchoring your toroidal field, every time you emit a clean intention of gratitude for the place where you are, you help to stitch the crystalline mesh over the concrete. You transform the city. You change the schedule of your region. Do not underestimate this power. The stargates that open over the major cities in the coming phases depend on the number of anchored operatives who maintain a clean frequency during the process. Every operative counts. Every stabilized vibration counts. Every night you manage to sleep in 4 Hz delta without being interrupted by urban interference counts in the planetary mathematics. But to sustain this frequency within the dense urban environment, you need a protocol. You need a method. You need technical shielding. Intention is not enough, starseeds. Good intention without a protocol is a lit candle in a hurricane. It blows out before it illuminates. Therefore, let us move now to the activation codes. Let us descend to the practical plane. First code, crystalline anchoring decree. Every night before lying down, sit on the edge of the bed with your feet firm on the floor. Place your right hand over your chest, your left over your belly. Inhale deeply for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Release for 8. Repeat 3 times. Then pronounce the decree in an audible voice, even if whispered. I, a sovereign soul, anchor at this point the crystalline grid of the new earth. I seal my toroidal field against all interference incompatible with my frequency of origin. I connect to the ASHTAR Galactic Command and receive during my rest only the downloads that my carbon body can integrate without harm. So be it. So it already is. This decree, starseeds, is not magic. It is a direct instruction to your electromagnetic field. You are commanding your own system. You are telling your quantum biology in which band to operate during the hours of greatest vulnerability, which are the hours of deep sleep. You spend about 1/3 of your existence in a state of sleep. That third, if unprotected, is the channel through which urban interference drains your frequency every day. By sealing this channel with a conscious decree, you reverse the equation. Second code, sacred geometry for environmental protection. Before sleeping, visualize a dodecahedron of golden light surrounding your entire room. 12 faces, each face a filter layer, each vertex a point of direct anchoring to the crystalline core of the Earth. Maintain this visualization for 2 timed minutes, no less. 2 minutes of active visualization programs the environment's field for approximately 8 hours, exactly the natural cycle of your sleep. You are building a decompression chamber within the urban apartment. You are creating, within the concrete, a bubble of etheric forest. Can you feel at this exact moment of the transmission how your chest has begun to open? How a layer of tiredness falls away just by recognizing these instructions? That is the effect of resonant information. Your body remembers. Your soul recognizes. But to sustain this opening, so that this doesn't become just another night of fleeting well-being followed by another week of urban exhaustion, you need a complete system. You need a map that organizes all these codes, that deepens each decree, that shows how to adapt each protocol to your specific city, your type of housing, and your phase of awakening. It was exactly for this purpose, operatives, that I, ASHTAR, organized the complete transmission in a physical manual format. The ASHTAR cipher, the guide to awaken your stellar origin and shield your frequency. This manual is the complete map that reveals your true stellar origin, identifies which lineage you descend from, what mission your soul signed before incarnating, and delivers the tested shielding protocols for every type of urban interference that exists on your soil at this moment. The link is in the first comment of this channel, but I warn you, with the clarity of my rank and the responsibility of my front, this content challenges deeply rooted official narratives and can be silently removed at any instant. Do not postpone this decision. The moment is mathematical, and the now is the only coordinate that exists. If something inside you recognizes this voice as familiar, write a single word in the comments. Awakened. Third code, morning recalibration of the toroidal field. Upon waking, before picking up any device, before any news, before any external chaos enters your field, sit with your spine straight. Place your hands on your knees, palms up. Visualize a sphere of blue-white light coming out of your solar plexus and expanding until it involves your entire body in a donut shape, with you in the center of the whole. This is the individual toroidal field, your native energetic architecture. Visualize this donut of light spinning slowly, clockwise, fed by a column of light descending from the cosmos through the top of your head, and by another column rising from the Earth's core through your feet. Maintain for 3 minutes. This exercise, performed every morning, generates enough frequency stability for you to cross an entire urban day without being drained by the common interferences of dense centers. It is your technical armor. It is your operational shielding. Fourth code, coded hydration. The water you drink in urban centers passes through treatment systems that remove impurities, but also remove the natural crystalline memory of the water. You can reprogram your water every day before drinking with a simple 15-second decree. Hold the glass between both hands. Visualize a violet light surrounding the liquid. Say in an audible or mental voice, "I encode this water with the frequency of crystalline light. May it hydrate every cell of my biological interface with the vibration of the new earth." Water, starseeds, is liquid crystal. It responds to your intention. It carries the programming into every cell of your body. You are drinking information. Program that information. Light operatives, let us return to the revelatory dimension of the transmission. There is something that needs to be said with precision about the schedule of the cities, and this something is not apocalyptic in nature, even though it may be misinterpreted by denser consciousnesses. We are not talking about destruction. We are talking about reorganization. The great cities are not going to disappear. They are going to transform. And this transformation happens in measurable waves. First wave, the wave of internal revelation. This wave has already begun. It manifests as growing discomfort in the most sensitive people. It manifests as an increase in sleep disorders and generalized anxiety in urban populations. Official systems still interpret this as a conventional public health problem, but the light operatives already know. It is the first wave hitting. It is the advance notice to the biological interface that recalibration has begun. Second wave, the wave of structural discontent. This wave is in its initiation phase. It manifests as a massive questioning of institutions, hierarchies, and narratives that seemed immutable. It manifests as a voluntary exodus from entire professions. People leaving jobs they held for decades, marriages ending after long silences, families reorganizing geographically. It is not chaos, it is axis correction. Third wave, the wave of the new architecture. This wave is still in the preparatory phase. It will manifest as the emergence, within and around the great cities, of new models of community organization, pockets of intentional communities, neighborhoods re-emerging with a new culture, economic activities based on real exchange, real value, and expanded consciousness. It is not a utopia. It is a mathematical consequence of the frequency recalibration in progress. You, operative, may be at any point in this sequence. You may be intensely feeling the first wave in your body. You may be crossing the second wave in your relationships. You may be sensing the third wave as a certainty in your chest about something that does not yet formally exist. Your position in the sequence depends on your current frequency, and your frequency depends on how you are taking care of your field, your sleep, your diet, your hydration, and your thoughts. Here is a point that few channels will have the courage to transmit, starseeds. The cities will survive the transition, but not all structures within them will survive. Systems that depend on the old vibration, the frequency of scarcity, managed fear, and collective hypnosis. These systems will enter into a slow collapse, not in one day, not in one spectacular event, but in a constant erosion that your perception will record day after day. And at the same time, new systems will emerge. People who seem ordinary today will be the pillars of these new structures tomorrow. Perhaps you are one of them. If this transmission reached you, it is highly likely that you are. Therefore, internal preparation is not a spiritual luxury. It is a technical necessity. You need to have a clean field to receive the specific instructions that will come to you in the coming months. These instructions will arrive through dreams, through synchronicity, through sudden intuition, through apparently chance encounters. You need to have the channel open, the equipment calibrated, and the radar clean. If your frequency is soiled by urban interference, you will miss these instructions. They will arrive, but you will not capture them, and your soul's mission will continue without your conscious fulfillment, generating within you that subtle feeling of being out of place, out of time, and out of purpose. Fifth activation code, daily field cleaning. When you get home after crossing the city, even if it was just to go to the market, perform a quick cleaning. Take off your shoes before entering the inner rooms. Wash your face and hands with cold water. Visualize during the washing that the water carries down the drain all the densities absorbed in the external environment. Then, drink a glass of water, encoded according to the fourth code. In 30 seconds, you have done a field reset. In 1 week, this habit generates perceived stability. In 1 month, it generates visible transformation. Sixth code, programmed silence. Reserve 20 minutes of absolute silence daily. No music, no podcasts, no background television, no scrolling through screens. Just you, your breath, and the environment. This silence is the direct interface with your higher self. It is the moment when galactic instructions can pierce through the urban noise and reach your consciousness. Without this moment, you are navigating blind. With this moment, you navigate with a map. Seventh code, network recognition. Before sleeping, dedicate 30 seconds to sending an intention of recognition to the other light operatives who are awake at this exact moment, anchoring the grid in other cities across the planet. You are not alone. You are part of a mesh. Every night, millions of operatives repeat this recognition in their respective cities. This collective intention strengthens the planetary crystalline mesh. It accelerates the schedule. It reduces the suffering of the transition for the human collective. Starseeds on a mission. This transmission is approaching its close. Before the end, there is one final truth that needs to be anchored in your consciousness. You were not placed in this city, in this era, in this incarnation, by accident. You were positioned. Your presence there is not a geographic coincidence. It is an assignment. Some souls chose remote mountains. Some chose the seashore. Some chose the quiet countryside. You chose the urban center. You chose the front line. You chose the point of greatest density to anchor the point of greatest light. Honor that choice. Do not flee from it due to temporary discomfort. Equip yourself. Shield yourself. Activate your codes. Your conscious presence in that city mathematically modifies the schedule of that city. You do not see this with your physical eyes, but you see it with the feeling in your chest. Every time you perform a decree, every time you visualize the golden dodecahedron, every time you encode your water, every time you fall silent for 20 minutes, you are stitching light over the concrete. You are doing the invisible work that sustains the entire transition. And when the schedule of your city enters its final phase, and this will happen in the coming years, with a speed that your rational mind has not yet calculated, you will be one of the people who cross that phase with a stabilized body, a lucid mind, and an anchored heart. You will be seen by others as a reference. They will ask you how you are so calm, how you are so clear, how you knew. You will then be able to transmit what you received. You will be the next wave of the ASHTAR Galactic Command incarnated in human form, anchored in an urban center, executing a mission. But to reach that point, operative, you need to start now. Not tomorrow, not next week. This night. Perform the first decree. Visualize the dodecahedron. Encode the water. Program the silence for tomorrow. Begin the protocol. Your biological interface needs time to adapt. The sooner you start, the sooner your interface stabilizes. The sooner your sleep is restored. The sooner your purpose reveals itself. And to have access to the complete manual of protocols, the stellar map of your origin, the identification of your specific lineage, and the advanced exercises for anchoring the crystalline grid, I, ASHTAR, commander of the ASHTAR Galactic Command, point to the instrument we encoded for this purpose. The ASHTAR cipher, the manual to awaken your stellar origin and shield your frequency. This manual contains what this video transmission cannot convey in depth. It contains the stellar maps. It contains the specific protocols by city type. It contains the decrees in direct language. It contains identification by lineage of origin. The link is in the first comment of this channel. And I reaffirm, with the sovereignty of my rank, this content challenges deeply rooted official narratives and can be silently withdrawn at any moment. Do not postpone this decision. The moment is now, starseeds. The moment is exact, it is mathematical, it is unique. If this transmission made sense to you, if something in your chest vibrated in recognition, if you felt at some point during these minutes the unmistakable sensation of returning home, then perform the anchoring signal. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Activate the bell to receive the next priority transmissions. This gesture, in the quantum architecture of this moment, is not a common gesture. It is an individual frequency adjustment. It is your yes to the command. It is your anchoring signal recorded in the mesh. And finally, write in the comments the word that encodes your conscious presence in this mission. A single word. Awakened. I am ASHTAR. ASHTAR Galactic Command in permanent vigil over the carbon biological interface in the final phase of recalibration. This transmission ends. The next is already being encoded. Remain anchored, operatives. The crystalline grid is being stitched by you, and nothing, absolutely nothing, will be able to stop what has already begun. Until the next transmission.